Let's talk about the Bible, John Locke, and the Declaration of Independence. John Locke, of course, is one of his greatest works, Two Treatises of Government. Donald Lutz, who wrote the book The Origins of American Constitutionalism, claims that John Locke was the single most frequently cited source in the years from 1760 to 1776. The signer of the Declaration of Independence, Richard Henry Lee, said that the Declaration of Independence was essentially copied from Locke's Two Treatises on Government. So essentially he was saying that the ideas are basically identical, okay? Locke and the Declaration. Thomas Jefferson said that Locke was among my trinity of the three greatest men the world had ever produced. So Thomas Jefferson, the main author behind the Declaration, said Locke is one of my three favorite guys ever. So we've laid a little bit of foundation. What's the point? With such importance being placed on John Locke's influence during the founding era of the United States, it is very useful to understand one thing. John Locke's Two Treatises of Government referenced over 1,500 Bible verses. And the whole book was only 400 pages long. So that's over 3 times per page, if you divided it up evenly, that he referenced Scripture. So does that make sense? Does that impact you? So let's go back one. Okay, John Locke, most frequently cited source from 1760 to 1776. John Locke. Signer of the Declaration, Richard Henry Lee, said, basically the Declaration was a copy of John Locke. Thomas Jefferson said, this guy, one of my 3 most important people on this earth. And this guy quoted Scripture, or at least referenced it in one way or another, over 1,500 times. And this is what influenced our Declaration of Independence. This is, in addition to individuals like John Wise, this is what formed the thinking and what filled the thoughts of those revolutionary individuals that gave us a declaration. So when someone says separation of church and state, you can't pray at a football game.
Why?
Exactly.
There is no such thing as separation of church and state.
Well, as Jefferson said it was basically to separate, like Reagan said, to prevent the state from encroaching upon the church. That's right, First Amendment, exactly. What does it say?
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or bridging the freedom of speech, or the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government for redress of grievances.
That's right. So Congress can't stop them.
That's right.
There's no separation of church and state in there. And if you go back to the original intent, it's essentially to protect the church from the state.